What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Saturday, January 4th, 2025, and I have another emergency alert to share with you guys. We have some major breaking news coming in from Eastern Europe and from here in the United States. I wanted to update you guys on the situation with the Trump Hotel Cybertruck bomber in Las Vegas. A lot of weird information came out about him yesterday. I want to talk about that, but also I want to mention to you guys not to get too distracted by that, okay? Remember, the powers that be want to give you things to focus on, okay? So don't hyper focus on this whole situation with Matt Liffelsberger, whatever his name is, okay? Everybody's obsessing about this guy, and I will get into some of the information about him. But we have some very serious weather coming down to the United States. We have winter storm warnings for multiple states in the Midwest and in the Mid-Atlantic. You can see most of Virginia under a winter storm watch. Pretty much all of Maryland and Delaware under winter storm watches. Southern New Jersey, southern Pennsylvania under winter storm watches. All of West Virginia under winter storm watches and warnings. Southern Ohio, all of Kentucky, most of Indiana, most of Illinois, pretty much all of Missouri, all of Kansas, and pretty much all of Nebraska. So, guys, get prepared. Focus on your preparations. Don't obsess about this Livelsberger guy, okay? So, military bases across the United States have raised security by suspending the Trusted Traveler program, meaning that all visitors, even those accompanied by a service member or a contractor, will be required to report to their base's visitors office prior to entry to the installation. And despite this change, the Force Protection Condition, or FPCON, currently still remains at Bravo. Okay, but the U.S. military increasing its security posture by suspending the Trusted Traveler program for U.S. military bases on U.S. soil. Here we have a post on X from Nellis Air Force Base, and they say here, effective immediately, the Trusted Traveler program has been temporarily suspended at Nellis Air Force Base until further notice. All visitors to Nellis Air Force Base who do not possess a DoD ID card will require a base pass from the Visitor Control Center to access the installation. I'm surprised that the military hasn't been doing this already, okay? It's pretty disturbing that they suddenly now have to suspend this Trusted Traveler program, which seems like a very risky program to begin with. But this is all being done because of the fear of possible terrorist attacks, because of what happened in New Orleans and at the Trump Hotel. We also have some very concerning news coming from Russia. So Russia's Leningrad region governor Drozdenko claimed that a drone was detected in the Luga Bay of the Gulf of Finland, and Russian air defense forces were used to shoot the drone down. Now, this is near St. Petersburg, so this is the body of water between Finland and Estonia. Okay, the Russian Leningrad region governor, Leningrad is just an old term for St. Petersburg, okay? And the region around St. Petersburg, they now call it Leningrad. That was established like 2 years ago. The Russian Duma voted to call it the Leningrad region again, which basically is a sign that, you know, Russia's going back in time towards the communist days, okay? But this governor claiming that a drone flew from Finland towards Russia and had to be shot down. So I don't know who launched this drone at Russia. I don't know if Russia's just saying that so they have an excuse to attack Finland now, okay? But either way, whatever you think, it doesn't matter. What matters is what Russia is saying, and they're claiming that this drone basically came from the Finnish or Estonian direction, and they had to shoot it down, okay? So they're insinuating that this was potentially Estonia or Finland, or maybe, Ukraine was launching their drones from Finland, okay? So this is very, very concerning. And we also have an outbreak in China right now. We have some fresh video footage coming from China. We have this woman here talking about the situation. She's at a hospital, and you can see behind her hundreds and hundreds of people crowded in this hospital. Okay, she's saying that many children, including my neighbor's grandchildren, have colds and fevers. We don't have children, but I've heard from several neighbors that many kids are sick lately. Though it may not be a cold, the main symptom is a fever. Okay, she says here 1,500 people have been admitted to this one hospital. Okay, she says that first it's like mild pneumonia for the first 3 to 4 days, and then it turns into severe pneumonia. Okay, but this is very, very serious. And then we also have this doctor here, Chinese doctor, talking about it. And he's saying that the symptoms of infection are similar to those of ordinary flu. Some cases are influenza A, while others are a combination of influenza A and COVID-19. It's widespread. Okay.
有人说流感来了啊，这一点呢我们不
Here you can see how crowded this clinic is here, or hospital.
能否认。急诊呢现在是爆满状态啊，挂块发热的、酸痛的、流涕的、咽痛的都是人，包括儿科也是一样的。刚才呢有个病人比
So this is very, very concerning, guys. We have to be on high alert. So we have some new video footage showing Livelsberger, the driver of the Cybertruck that blew up outside of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, charging up his Cybertruck right before he goes on his mission. And this update was sponsored by Patriot Supply. Guys, Patriot Supply is doing a massive sale on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewithnYprepper.com, and the link is in the description below this video. They're selling their 3-month emergency food supply for just $600. So that's $100 off the normal price. And this is 3 months of food at 2,000 calories per day. Has a shelf life of up to 25 years. And all of this is packed into 6 rugged water-resistant buckets. And free shipping is included. And they're also offering a disaster replacement warranty. So if your food supply gets destroyed by a natural disaster, they'll replace it for you with no charge. And they also will provide you with free survival books and information, including a natural disaster field guide, a survival Bible digital copy. So use the link preparewithnYprepper.com to get $100 off the Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video. And there was this email that was apparently sent out by Matt Livelsberger to a U.S. military veteran who has a YouTube channel and a social media presence, and he was interviewed by Sean Ryan on the Sean Ryan podcast on YouTube. And this email basically says that all the drones we've been seeing on the East Coast and over military bases are Chinese anti-gravity drones. And he says in this email, this is Matt Livelsberger, okay, the Cybertruck bomber, saying that he knows what these drones are, and they're anti-gravity drones, okay? These are like UFOs, and only China and the US possess these drones, and that there's basically an arms race going on between China and the US. Let me just read to you this email. You can make up your own mind about this, but I figured I would touch on it because everybody's been obsessing about this. I just want to remind you guys, this could all be one big story, okay? One big distraction. I'm not trying to disparage Sean Ryan, but remember, he was a government asset, okay? And he could still be a government asset working to push out misinformation, disinformation, propaganda, whatever. Okay, so you have to use your discernment. Don't just jump on everything that is put out in front of you. Okay, but let me read this to you. In case I do not make it to my decision point or onto the Mexican border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until January the 1st and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. So he's basically emailing this guy. This is Livelsberger, the driver of the Cybertruck. Okay, he's telling him that he has a black Ford Mustang, so he wants to verify, who he is. Okay, he's giving him his car. What we have been seeing with drones is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China in the East Coast, but throughout history, the U.S. Only we and China have this capability. Our operation center location for this activity in the box is below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they used the balloon for signals intelligence and ISR. He's referring to that big balloon that flew over the U.S. 2 years ago and had to be shot down. So he's saying the drones are basically doing the same thing as that balloon, which are also part of the integrated comms system. There are dozens of these balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aerial craft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. USG, that's the U.S. government, needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them, and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI. He's talking about Homeland Security. And they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive vehicle-borne IED. Okay, so this was sent out on New Year's Eve. Okay, and he's saying he has a vehicle-borne IED, so he's got a car bomb essentially. Okay, so this was supposedly Matthew Livelsberger, the Cybertruck bomber. Okay, so he was trying to flee to Mexico. He knew about what the government was doing with these anti-gravity drones that they have, this special propulsion technology, probably reverse engineered from aliens, it seems like. And apparently the US and China are the only ones that have it. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in the Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the administration, the DoD, the DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of civilian casualties that killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. USFORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on initial ISR, that's intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. So they launched these strikes even after spotting civilians. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with USFORA and Agent Redacted of the DEA, so I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with General Miller's IO staff on this, as well as the response to Bala Murghab. AOBS commander at the time, Redacted, can validate this. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war, because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. For vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty 18Z out of 1-10. My profile is public. I have an active top secret clearance with sensitive compartmented information with UAP and USAP access. So I'm assuming he has UAP access, okay, basically UFO access, unidentified aerial phenomenon. So he must have been working on some kind of program related to UAPs, and he knew too much, and they were trying to take him out. He tried to flee to Mexico, and then instead he detonated that truck outside of Trump Hotel. Now, if you watch the Sean Ryan show from yesterday, okay, the guy who received this email says that he believes that Matthew Livelsberger is not actually dead because the DNA that they found inside of the Cybertruck did not match Matthew Livelsberger. Okay, so for all we know, Livelsberger could still be alive. Okay, he faked his own death and detonated this Cybertruck, or the government's not telling us the truth. Okay, but obviously this guy knew a lot and the government wanted to take him out. And he was trying to get to Mexico, but he was afraid he wasn't going to be able to, and he was very concerned about this anti-gravity program that the U.S. and China have. So, and he's saying that it could cause World War III, okay, because both China and the U.S. have this technology. So this is very, very weird. I don't know what to make of it. Part of me wants to believe that this is true. Part of me wants to believe that this is a big distraction, okay? They've been pushing this UFO, UAP, extraterrestrial thing over the last 2 months and really over the last 2 to 3 years, okay? So, just use your discernment, guys. And American intelligence sources reportedly revealed that the Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen are using Chinese-made weapons for their assaults on shipping in the Red Sea in exchange for refraining from attacks upon Chinese vessels. After Houthi leaders visited China in 2023 and 2024 to establish a supply chain, the group was able to obtain advanced components and guidance equipment for their missiles, according to Israel's I-24 News. The report claims that the Houthis plan to utilize the Chinese weapons components to produce hundreds of cruise missiles capable of striking Persian Gulf states. And China-linked vessels continue to navigate the Red Sea. Maritime data confirms that China-associated ships are continuing to navigate the Red Sea shipping lanes without being targeted, though a Houthi targeting error reportedly led to an attack on a China-linked oil tanker in March of 2024. The Houthis have previously said they would avoid targeting ships linked to China, which purchases 90% of Iranian oil exports, helping counter sanctions imposed on the country's energy sector. So this is a very weird situation. There's some kind of secret supply chain in China to supply the Houthis with weapons and components for their weapons that they're using to strike Western ships that are passing through the Red Sea. Okay, so China is helping the Houthis, guys, and in exchange for that, the Houthis have agreed not to strike Chinese vessels. That is very sketchy. And NATO is planning a massive exercise along the eastern flank called Operation Steadfast Dart 25. The UK alone will be sending 2,600 troops and 730 vehicles. According to the British Defence Ministry, the UK's 1st Division will command all of NATO's land forces during the exercise to practice the deployment of the new Allied Quick Reaction Force, which can rapidly reinforce NATO's eastern flank. So they're drilling to prepare for a Russian invasion of Eastern Europe. Okay, this is very, very concerning. And before I continue with the breaking news, I just want to ask you guys a favor. If you could help my friend with some medical bills. So she needs surgery to remove some scar tissue in her foot, and she needs $600 to pay her copay, okay, because her insurance company is not going to cover the full procedure. So she has to pay a copay and a co-insurance. So she's almost lost her feet this year. Thank God she didn't have her feet amputated. So I'm going to leave her GoFundMe in the comments down below. Feel free to donate as much as you can. And for some reason, over the last 2 days, there's been a lot of sub-hunter activity in the Mediterranean. Here we have a P-8 Poseidon that was actually flying with its transponder turned off in the eastern Mediterranean, which is extremely unusual. Normally, these P-8 Poseidons will have their transponders on, but for some reason, this one had its transponder turned off. And also, we have another P-8 Poseidon that went to the eastern Mediterranean and turned its transponder off this morning. And then we also had a British fighter jet and aerial refueler fly towards Jordan and then turn its transponder off. And last night, we had a lot of recon drones in this area. We had 2 U.S. military recon drones. One of them flew towards Jordan and turned its transponder off. So I don't know what's going on over here, but there's a lot of reconnaissance in the eastern Mediterranean and in the Persian Gulf as well. Here we have another sub-hunter in the Persian Gulf, okay? And we know that John Kirby, the National Security Advisor, presented attack plans to Biden for attacking Iran's nuclear facilities before Trump takes office, okay? Here we have the flight path of a U.S. missile detecting and tracking plane, also known as a Cobra Ball, that was in the Sea of Japan. And then also you can see a bunch of reconnaissance planes operated by South Korea and the U.S. military patrolling the border of North and South Korea. There's been a lot of reconnaissance over South Korea. 4 reconnaissance planes here, guys, over South Korea, right on the border with North Korea, and then the Cobra Ball. Okay, so looks like North Korea or China are going to be testing ballistic missiles, and we've been sending Cobra Balls to the Sea of Japan every day for the last few days. And we had 4 nuclear war command and control planes up in the air yesterday, which is quite a bit. And we did have a lot of nuclear attack options transmitted. So our nuclear forces are definitely on high alert. And what you're looking at here is a picture of the new Chinese stealth bomber known as the H-20. Apparently it made its first flight recently, and it was accompanied here by a J-16 fighter jet. Okay, so this is very, very concerning. And we have some good news for Israel. Biden is reportedly going to sign an $8 billion Israeli arms deal. So Israel's going to get a bunch of military equipment from the U.S. for $8 billion, a massive sale to Israel. And Biden was withholding this over the last year and a half. Okay, since October 7, he has not wanted to agree to this deal. Okay, now he finally is. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back later on with more breaking news. Just make sure you guys are getting prepared. Okay, we have some very cold weather coming. We have another possible pandemic coming from China. We have the situation with Russia and Ukraine, which is not looking too good. We're hearing right now that Russia has stockpiled hundreds of missiles that they're going to use in the coming days to launch massive strikes on Ukraine. And also Putin is still planning to use the Oreshnik IRBMs on Ukraine, which could potentially be nuclear tipped. But I'll be back later with another update, and until then, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.